And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Noonamaker versus Noonamaker, step forward, please.
Salesman Bruce Noonamaker is suing his son, truck driver Shad Noonamaker, for unpaid credit card charges. Shad claims he's never stopped making payments.
Mr. Noonamaker, this is your son.
Yes.
According to what I read in your complaint, 2 years ago, your son ran into some difficulty with a truck that he owned for business. And the truck broke down, requiring a substantial amount of repairs. You loaned him money to make... Stop playing with your papers. You loaned him the money to make the repairs on your truck through your credit card. There was an agreement that he would pay you back, and he had been making the payments faithfully on your credit card from 2002 until March of 2004. So far, am I correct?
Yes.
Is that right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And then he stopped making the payments. You want at least part of the balance of what is owed because the maximum in this court is $5,000. The defendant says that you breached the agreement with you with regard to repayment of this loan, so the loan was null and void. And he'll explain that to me in a moment. When in 2002 was this loan made?
May 2nd of 2002.
And under what circumstances was it made?
Shad was on a trip. He drives over the road, and during the trip, he was outside of Colorado, about 150 miles outside of Denver, rather, in Grand Junction, Colorado, and he called me and said that his truck, the engine had blown.
What kind of truck did you have, sir?
It's a Freightliner. I have a photo here.
I'd like to see it.
That's the exterior and then,
Okay,
interior.
go ahead. Go ahead.
He told me on the phone that he was unable to arrange his own financing for the $12,000 engine in his truck, and without that, he was out of work.
Now, tell me, sir, why did you stop making payments? You were making the payments to your father.
Ma'am, I never stopped making payments. As a matter of fact, I have a copy of all of my checks, and I also have a copy of check number 619 for $247.54, which I just called yesterday, and my bank says it has not cleared, which tells me that for some reason or another, Bruce does not want to cash the check.
Did you receive a check that you did not cash, sir?
I cashed it a couple days ago, yes.
So you did cash it?
I did.
Just a few days ago. So what are you doing here?
That was a check for March. At the time of our separation, he was living with me in my home.
I understand that.
And it came to a point where we came to some conflict.
I understand that. And he moved out, and he moved out. You told him to move out, and he was angry. But you've just cashed a check, sir, that he paid for, and he said he's paid for the truck, and he intends to continue to honor the agreement. So what are you doing here?
That's not true.
What's not true?
The truth of the matter is that he sent me a check after we separated on March 19th. Sent me a check for partial payment on the March payment. At the day that we separated, when the papers were served by the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, he verbalized that, and prior to that too, that I would never see the rest of that money.
Well, he was speaking out of the top of it, or, he was speaking out of anger because he acknowledges that this is his debt, and he's acknowledged that in open court. Is that right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. You understand, Mr. Noonamaker, that if you fail, now that we have an acknowledged debt, it doesn't have to be in writing anymore. It's an acknowledged debt under oath.
With no stipulations?
So, listen to me. It's an acknowledged debt under oath. You understand that if you fail to pay this debt, your father has a lien on your truck. Do you understand that? I want you to understand that.
No, I don't know that.
Well, then I am telling you that. Your father has a lien on your truck should you fail to pay it. It's exactly the same thing as if you had a written contract with him, a written loan agreement with him. Do I make myself clear?
Thus far, yes.
Good. I suggest, sir, that you make those payments on time every month.
Ma'am?
Yes.
May I add something? It's very important. Before I moved out, I told him that if he breached our agreement, he would not see it. And he said, that's fine. I'll take the loss to get you out of my life.
What are you talking about breach? Tell me.
The agreement was that I would continue to make payments and still live in his house and do my studies.
Well, that's what you wrote in your answer that I didn't believe when I read it in your answer. Are you telling me, sir, that when you called your father from the road, in May of 2002 and said, Dad, I blew the engine on my truck and I don't have the finances to fix it. Can you lend me the money? And your father said yes. And what you want me to believe is, and you said to your father, and I will pay you back as long as you are nice to me, watch your temper, let me live in your house and continue my studies. And your father said yes, under those conditions I will... Speaking! Under those conditions, I will give you the $12,000. Is that what you want me to believe? Get a life.
We did not make an agreement, ma'am.
Listen to me, sir.
We did not discuss an agreement.
Listen to me, sir. I've just advised your son, under oath, your son has acknowledged this loan to you. There were no conditions on the loan. I find that there were no conditions on the loan. I will enter an order that should he miss 2 payments, you have leave to enter a judgment against him in the amount of the balance owed on the truck, and you may enter a lien against that truck in order to execute on it. You can sell it. Do you understand?
I do. What about the 2
Goodbye.
He's our excuse.
He has issues from his childhood that he's still trying to work through.
The animosity began, I don't know, years and years ago when he developed a chemical imbalance.
Chad left us once before for 3 years. We didn't know if he was alive or dead.
Bruce said that he would let the thing go, and then he sued me 2 days later. Can you understand why I was a little bit confused whether or not I was supposed to be making payments?
I didn't forgive the debt. I said, I'll have to deal with it in whatever fashion I have to go.
If you want to go upward, you have to get away from people that are trying to drag you down.
I hope that there's healing for Chad's spirit and our family.
18-year-old laborer Sherry Powell is suing her former friend, 17-year-old Lise Chouinard, and her mother Paulette for lost wages and pain and suffering due to an assault. Lise claims Sherry slept with her friend's boyfriend.
Yes, case number 315 on the calendar in the matter of Powell versus Chouinard. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
What's your name?
Rianne Curry.
Rianne?
Yes.
You already pled guilty in this assault, is that right?
Yes.
Did you think you were coming to a dance today or something?
No.
Miss Powell, according to your complaint, this young lady assaulted you. And according to your complaint, she pled guilty to the assault, which she clearly says she did. But you said you claim that she was assisted in that assault by this young lady.
That's correct.
Who held you down, held your hair, and you, while she assaulted you.
That's right.
What's your first name?
Lise.
What?
Lise.
Why did your friend assault her?
It was over an ex-boyfriend.
What's the ex-boyfriend's name?
Greg.
How long ago was Rianne with Greg?
About a year ago.
Was Miss Powell ever with Greg?
I don't think she was. I think she just had slept with him.
Is that what she was annoyed at?
Yeah.
So Rianne was angry because she thought, right or wrong, that Miss Powell had been involved with her ex-boyfriend.
Well, her ex-boyfriend had told her that he had slept with her.
During the time that they were still together?
Yes.
Could you do me, you're her mother?
I sure am.
Good. Why don't you sit down? Because you're just here because you have the deep pockets. Step up here, Rianne. Now, when Greg told you about this assignation, did you beat him up?
No.
Did you punch him in the face?
No.
Did you kick him in the groin?
No.
Why not? Did you think that Miss Powell held him down?
No.
So why did you get angry with her?
Because we were acquaintances at the time, and...
So you think that because you were an acquaintance of Miss Powell, she owed you more loyalty than the boyfriend that you had with whom you were sleeping?
No, but...
I'm just trying to get the rationale. You got a boyfriend with whom you are intimate. And how long had Greg been your boyfriend?
A few months.
And you are crazy about him, right?
Not totally.
Well, I assume that if you were intimate with him, that you had some feelings for him. Is that right?
Yes.
And your boyfriend, with whom you have been intimate, says to you, when you weren't around, I slept with Miss Powell. Yeah, you start to cry, right? You got upset?
A little bit.
Did you yell at him?
Yes.
What did you say?
Many things. It was a year ago.
When did you assault Miss Powell?
October of last year.
And when did your boyfriend tell you that he had been intimate with Miss Powell?
September of last year.
Now, between September and October, had you seen Miss Powell?
Not really, no.
So the first time you saw her was when the assault took place, is that right?
Yes.
And where was that?
At pool hall.
And Lise was with you?
She wasn't there in the beginning, but she came around, yeah.
And she's a friend of yours?
Yes.
Had you told her about Greg's confession?
Yes.
You see how it all fits in? You want to know why? Because it's common sense. That's why it all fits in. Tell me what happened when you saw her.
I had seen her and...
Now look at me. Don't look at the floor. Don't look at the water. Look at me.
I had seen her in the pool hall with him, and I got...
With Greg?
Yes.
Oh, she was with Greg in October. Is that right, Miss Powell?
We were friends, and at the time, she was dating his brother, who's Matt.
Okay. But you were with Greg, and you were no longer with Greg.
No.
So you saw her, and she was with Greg. And what did you say to her?
At first, I didn't say anything to her, and then when she had come outside, I had confronted her.
What did you say to her?
I asked her what the problem was, and that's when...
Well, I didn't hear about any problem. What do you mean, what the
She
problem was?
disrespected me, that's the
How did
problem.
she disrespect you?
By sleeping with my boyfriend.
Disrespected you?
Yes.
Your boyfriend disrespected you?
Yeah, that too.
Okay. And what did she say to you?
She said, "What are you talking about?" And I basically said, "You know, well, what I'm talking about." And that's when a fight broke out.
No, that's just words that I hear so far. Mm-hmm. After you said, "I don't know what you're talking about," what happened, Miss Powell?
On that note, I did not say anything before it happened. There were no words said besides some name-calling from her to me before she hit me.
Where did she hit you?
In the face.
With what?
With her fists.
And where was Lise at the time?
Lise was standing behind her, maybe about 5 feet behind her.
No. Anybody else with them?
Greg was walking with me outside, and Matt was outside, who at the time
Matt was
Rianne's boyfriend.
And then what happened?
She started hitting me, and she's saying, "Come on, Sherry, hit me, hit me." And at the time, it happened so fast that I barely knew who it was. I had no idea what she was doing or why she was doing it. And she went savage.
Okay, she's already acknowledged to the police and to the courts that she assaulted you. What I want to know is what Lisa's participation was, if any.
There were some words said.
By whom?
I said, "What the Rianne?" Like, I was totally confused. She said, "What the Sherry?" And then she was hitting me and scratching me and pulling me by my hair. I had turned her around because before I was up against a concrete wall, and she was pulling my hair and hitting me, hitting my head off the wall. So I turned her around to get away from the wall. And as I turned her around, I took control of her. And then Lise came in because she knew that I had some control. And she started pulling my hair.
From behind?
Yes.
And then what happened?
And then Greg said, she's Matt's brother, Rianne's ex-boyfriend, said, "You have nothing to do with this, Lise, get away." And from what I understood, Greg had taken her away, but I think that she had backed away.
You mean Lise?
Yes.
Okay. How long did she hold your hair?
Maybe about 10 seconds, not even.
While she was holding your hair, what was Rianne doing?
She was hitting me and scratching me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. 18-year-old Sherry Powell says her former friend, 17-year-old Lise Chouinard, owes for an assault. Lise says she was trying to break up a fight between Sherry and her friend.
Okay. Now I'll hear you.
When they were fighting, I was in the car with my two friends. Rianne had been taking a little while, so I went to see where she was in the pool hall, but they had been outside. And I came in, and Sherry had Rianne by the throat against a brick wall, and my first intention was to pull her off of her. Like, this girl's way bigger than my girlfriend, so I was like, "Kate, no, this is retarded." So I pulled her off there, and then that's when Greg told me, "Back off these," and I was like, "Kate, yeah." And I stood there, and they finished their fight. And then we left.
Why did you put your hands on her?
To pull her off my girlfriend.
You have no right to do that.
Well, if you, like...
You have no right to do that.
Yeah, but she was sitting there hurting.
Listen to me. I don't believe that you weren't there and didn't see how it started. Don't believe your cookie. Don't believe your cookie. You knew exactly what was going on because she's your friend, and you knew she was angry at her.
But I wasn't even there when it started.
Don't believe you, my dear. Don't believe you. It's just too coincidental that at a time when she seemed to be getting the upper hand, you stepped in. just too coincidental to me.
I stepped in for 2 seconds to get her off Rianne. That's what I did.
When you got her off Rianne, did Rianne continue to assault her?
Rianne wasn't even hitting her when I pulled her off. Sherry had Rianne by the throat and had her fist out like that.
Sounds right to me. Sounds perfect to me. She started it. She hit her first. She confronted her first. She assaulted her first.
Yeah. So that's what happened. That's what happened. I'm not saying that's not what happened, but I pulled her off my friend. I walk in and she's got my friend by the throat. My immediate reaction is to do that. Like, what else would I do? Just sit there and be like, oh, you can go and hit my girlfriend?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would I do that?
Because then you wouldn't be standing where you are, if I believed you, which I don't, because I find that somebody who can't even figure out that their shirt is supposed to meet their pants when they come to court is not going to tell me the truth.
I'm not going to tell you. Why would I stand up here and lie?
Why?
Yeah, exactly. I have no reason to sit here and lie.
Oh, yes, you do.
No, I don't. I have no reason. No. I don't even talk to her no more. This has been a year ago.
Let me explain to you why you do. Because she's suing your mother. Because your mother is responsible for you. She's suing your mother for $5,000 because you permitted, at least for a period of time, your friend, who also doesn't know how to dress when she comes to court, to assault her by holding her hair and allowing her to be hit. You did that.
But that didn't even happen.
You have a police report, please?
No, they would not release it to me.
Do you have a hospital record?
Yes, I do.
May I see it, please?
I have a picture, too.
Okay.
I have a police statement. Would you also like to see that? Mm-hmm. And I have an apology letter from Rianne.
Do you have a separate lawsuit against Rianne?
I haven't sued her. I do intend on suing her in higher courts. So far, she had just pleaded guilty in Canada.
When?
For assault. On October 8th this year.
Okay. Step up, please. What's your name?
Matt Duke.
You were there that evening in October, sir?
Yeah.
Tell me what you observed with regard to this young lady holding the plaintiff.
She was in the car when Rianne was starting all this stuff, and then when she came out, she didn't know what was going on. I just seen her run past and try to go and help out her friend like anybody else would. And my brother pulled her off before she could get involved, so it wouldn't be a 2-on-1 or anything like that. And in the meanwhile, I told Rianne, that's enough. No more fighting. That's when the fight stopped.
Sit down, genius. What did you plead guilty to, Rianne?
Assault into Sherry.
Were you sentenced yet?
What I have here is my 12-month conditional discharge.
Can I see it,
is what
please?
they gave me.
Can I see it, please? She wrote you a letter of apology because she was directed by the court to do it.
She wasn't directed.
No, I offered.
Who just said that to me? Which one of you two geniuses said I wasn't directed, she offered it? Who said that?
I did.
Okay. This assault happened in October of 2003, is that right?
Yes.
If your friend was truly sorry for what she had done, the letter of apology would have come not a year later, but the next week. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. The letter of apology, which was directed by the court. It's here in the order. This is the dumbest bird. You just have to listen to this. That a court accepted as an apology letter. I didn't have to write this letter of apology. I chose to. What happened between you and me was a huge waste of my time. But I'd like you to know that you should be apologizing too because of what you did to me. I have to let it go because I've realized a lot about both of you. I know how hurt and angry you'd be if another female stabbed you in the back like that. The both of you are in my past, and I've moved on to better things. So, on my behalf, I apologize for doing what I did to you.
Touching.
Touching, and
Very
the
touching.
future of our country. Future of that country.
Or theirs.
Or theirs. Oh, Canada? Oh.
Can I make a note on that
Listen!
letter?
You have no right to put your hands on another person. She has no right to put her hands on another person. If your boyfriend disrespects you by fooling around, you do what's necessary to him. You can move out of the apartment, kick him out of the apartment. You can break off all contact. You can yell and scream. But as long as there is no allegation that someone held him down and forced him to submission, no, it's his fault.
She had a part. It takes two to have sex. Like,
she's not your boyfriend.
No, she's not.
She's not your boyfriend. She wasn't even your friend. According to you, you knew her. She owes you no allegiance. You weren't married. You weren't engaged. You had a boyfriend for a couple of months. What do? I mean, do you work? Do you go to school? Do you do anything?
Not right now, no.
You don't do anything?
No.
You better find something to occupy your time. Judgment for the... What?
She's also pregnant with his kid.
Oh. How
has nothing to do with
how
this,
fortunate
Sherry,
for the
so why
people
bring
of
that up?
Canada. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Sherry's a fat cow who shouldn't even be getting anything.
She took her frustrations out on me.
She was attacking my friend, and she's 10 times the size of my friend.
I had taken control because I knew that this girl was crazy.
I got over-tempered.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
She's mentally freaking touched in the head.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Callahan versus Colarusso, step forward, please.
Business owner Dawn Callahan is suing her father's ex-girlfriend, homemaker Dee Colarusso, for the return of her late mother's desk. Dee claims the desk was abandoned.
Ms. Callahan, Ms. Colarusso is your father's former girlfriend.
Correct.
According to your complaint, your father has a desk that belonged to your mother, who passed away, and the desk was to be yours. He was bringing it to you. And he stopped over at his girlfriend's house, and for some reason he left his truck there for a while, and the desk. They subsequently broke up. She has your desk. You want it back.
Yes.
You have a picture of the desk?
No, I don't.
Do you?
No, certainly.
I'd like to see it, please. Oh, it's a pretty little lady's desk.
Yes.
Where is it, in your living room?
No, it's upstairs in my bedroom.
How long do you know Miss Callahan?
I'd say approximately a year and a half. Year.
Is she a nice person?
At times.
When did your mother pass away?
April 26, 2002.
Was this her desk?
Yes, it was.
Did you tell Miss Colarusso that it was your mother's desk?
Yes, I did.
When did she tell you that?
To my recollection, I had never heard anything about it except that Lynn moved it into my home 2 minutes after he moved into my home.
He did?
Yes, and left it in my garage.
Yes.
It proceeded to get mildew, all kinds of markings, and all the rest of it. I had a couple of friends come in, empty it out, put the stuff into a green bag to lighten it so they could move it upstairs into my upstairs apartment, and they did so. So now it's been receiving much better care.
Well, that's very nice, but it's not your desk.
Well, I consider it storage fee.
I don't care what you consider it. You had a storage arrangement with him?
No.
Well, if you didn't have a storage arrangement with him, my dear, then you can't say I'm taking the desk for storage fee.
I took his car for storage fee.
Listen to me very carefully. It doesn't belong to you. It's not your desk. Romance is over. It's over. You can't just decide you're going to protect the property that doesn't belong to you and then somebody says, I want my desk back. You say, well, I took it upstairs and I've been taking care of it, so now it's mine. You have to give her back the desk 5 days from today. Make arrangements with the mover. You want to leave the desk upstairs and have her mover bring it downstairs, or you want your mover to bring it downstairs?
Who says it's her desk?
I do! Now, that's her father. Whose desk is it?
My daughter's desk.
Right. Belonged to her mother. She wants her mother's desk because she doesn't want you to have it. And it holds absolutely no sentimental value for you whatsoever. Just mad value because you're not together with the prize package anymore. She gets a desk back in 5 days. I'll sign the order. That's it.
Excuse me?
What?
My paperwork, all my mother's legal paperwork that was inside there, 401ks and everything.
I don't know where that is. Where is it?
Gone.
What did you do with it?
It went out with the trash. All the trash that Lenny had dumped.
It's gone. Listen to me. It's probably gone. She's not nice. She's probably mad. Did he dump her?
In a nice way.
I don't care whether it's a nice way. It's never a nice way to a lady to get dumped. Did he dump her?
Yes.
That's what she did with your mother's stuff that was inside the desk.
Okay.
Dumped it. Got it?
Okay.
The desk you get back. 5 days.
Okay.
And it better be in good condition. That's all.
Thank you.
Why is our excuse? You may step out.
I'm very happy I'm getting my mother's desk back.
I would not harm somebody else's antique furniture.
I've been nothing but nice to her and did favors for her, and she turned around and done this to me.
I'm not punishing his daughter. He owes me $375.
It was my great-grandmother's and given to my grandmother, to my mother, and now to me.
The desk is only worth $250.
Just want it back.
Somebody owes me money. I want it back.
Carla Cardenas is suing her neighbors, Kathleen and Eddie Montoya, for the cost of vet bills. Carla says the Montoya's pit bull attacked her dog. The Montoyas are countersuing for harassment.
Arise. Yeah, this is case number 354 on the calendar in the matter of Cardenas versus Montoya. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
Miss Cardenas, were you walking your dog when this incident happened?
No, I was not. My daughter was.
This daughter?
Yes.
Okay. Would you step up, please? Tell me your name.
Hillary.
Hillary, what kind of a dog do you have?
I'm not sure. It's just a dog.
How long have you had the dog?
I got it Christmas last year.
Do you have a picture?
I do.
I'd like to see it, please. Sweet looking, small.
Small.
Hillary, so you were walking your dog, and when did this happen?
It was on April the 19th.
And are the Montoya's neighbors of yours?
Yes.
And they have a dog?
Yes.
Had you seen their dog before? Miss Montoya,
No.
put your papers down. You'd never seen their dog before?
No.
Tell me what happened when you were walking your dog.
Their dog was out by their yard, and I was walking with my dog on the other side of the street, and their dog came up and sniffed my dog, and then just started biting his neck. And
What kind of a dog do they have?
A pit bull.
Is that right?
Yes.
How old is your pit bull?
About 7 years old.
And you had vet bills, according to your complaint, of approximately $1,400.
Yes.
Can I see the vet bills and whatever other evidence you have, please?
Here are pictures of the dog's injuries.
What happened when the dog came up and started to gnaw at your dog?
Neighbors, one of the neighbors was trying to hit it with a shovel, and everyone was telling the dog to get off, but it just wouldn't get off, and then finally it just let go.
How's he now?
Pretty good.
Okay? How long was he in the vet?
He had to go every Saturday to see the vet, and he was at the vet overnight for surgery, and then he had to be in private care for 2 days.
Okay. All right, who's going to speak for you folks?
I guess I can.
That's fine. I'd like to hear what you have to say about this, and you also have a counterclaim. Your counterclaim is for harassment.
Correct.
Okay. So, what was your dog doing out?
I have no clue. My husband was in the hospital at the time, and me and 3 of my children were visiting him. We were actually on our way home when the attack happened. My daughter, Natalie, was the one that was home and witnessed what had happened. I only know from the time I got home what happened.
Which one is Natalie? All right, Natalie, you were home. What's your dog's name?
Rusty.
Where was Rusty?
He was across the street on the sidewalk sniffing their dog, and then their dog had bit.
How did he get there?
I have no idea.
The dog wasn't on a leash either.
Listen to me. You were in the hospital.
But the dog wasn't on a leash.
Yes, it was.
Shh. You were in the hospital.
I know that.
Good. So if you don't know what happened, I suggest you keep your mouth shut. Now, you were the one who was home.
Yes.
Why wasn't Rusty in your house?
Because we don't allow the dogs in the house.
So your dogs are outside all the time. How many dogs do you have?
We have 2.
Are they both pit bulls?
Yes, they are.
Has Rusty ever bitten anybody?
No.
Has Rusty ever attacked another animal?
No.
Did this time? Now, Miss Montoya, what makes you think that you are not responsible for these vet bills?
Because the harassment that we had to put up with her
I'm
children.
not listening to harassment yet. I'm asking you about the vet bills. Why do you think you were not...
Because her dog was out also. It was at our end of the street it snapped at my dog first, and my dog retaliated.
A, you don't know that. And B,
my daughter witnessed it. I do know that.
Oh, just 1 second. Your dog went across the street. That's what you just told me.
That's where her dog was at.
No, no, no. Listen to. I know that's where her dog was at.
Her dog was out without a leash. She was at her friend's house.
Listen to me. Did you just tell me that your dog went across the street to where her dog was?
Yes.
I'm going to take it down a level. Miss Montoya, let me explain something to you. You and I both know, and everybody knows, that a pit bull can cause a great deal of damage because of the configuration of their jaw. Correct?
Correct.
All right. You, therefore, have a responsibility that you are an insurer that your dog is not out of the control of you, your husband, your children, somebody at all times. Do we understand? Listen to me. I'm speaking. If you keep an animal that is potentially dangerous in your home and you choose not to keep that animal in your house because you don't want it to mess up your house, you are an insurer because your answer to this complaint is somebody must have let the dog out of the gate.
Correct.
And therefore it's not my fault because somebody did it. And as long as somebody did it and it wasn't me because I'm in the hospital and my daughter doesn't know whether she is a foot or horseback, it's not my fault. Well, I'm telling you, from a legal perspective, it is your fault. You are an insurer that this dog that is potentially deadly does not get out because it could just as easily have been a 3-year-old child that was across the street that your dog decided to attack, as opposed to a small dog that your dog decided to attack. Did you have brain surgery, sir?
Almost.
Did you have brain surgery?
Pretty much.
Well, then maybe that's the problem. Why don't you try opening up, putting on your listening ears and listen? When you keep a pit bull, you have a responsibility to ensure that that dog does not get loose. And if it does get loose, I'm speaking. And if it does get loose, you pay the consequences. So you're going to pay them $1,400 for their medical bills. Now, if you're... I'm speaking. And if your complaint is that after you refuse to pay the medical bills for their dog that was injured really seriously, that their daughter decided to harass your daughter, I would have paid the $2. Do you understand?
Yes.
We never knew nothing about the bill, though, till about
Carla
a month and a half later.
Right. Carla,
we tried to contact the mother, and the mother was never available to come to the door. The daughter would say, my mom's busy.
Sir,
my mom's not here.
Sir,
so we tried a month and a half to get a hold of her. I was in a wheelchair and went down to her house to contact her. And they told me that she wasn't available.
One time.
That she wasn't available. So how were we ever supposed to communicate with the parent?
Try U.S. Postal Service. Try the U.S. Postal Service.
Like I said, my dog can go free. My dog don't bother nobody. The kids, it's never been a kid. It pays with kids all the time. So how can you sit here and tell me my dog is dangerous?
Let me tell you why, sir. Because in the last week, I have handled 3 pit bull cases.
Those are those pit bulls. Those ain't my dog.
No, this is... Well, listen to me, sir. This is your pit bull.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Carla Cardenas claims her neighbor's unleashed pit bull attacked her dog. Kathleen and Eddie Montoya claim Carla's dog was also unleashed.
You are an insurer. If you have
I see
a
what
dog...
their dog was doing way down the street without a leash in front of my house in the first place.
It's like 9 houses away.
Listen to me. You're never going to get anywhere. He's never going to get it.
I do get it. I understand both dogs were not unleashed.
Listen to me. It's sad, but he's never going to get it. His wife appears to be slightly more intelligent. Not necessarily her, but the wife appears to be slightly more intelligent, and perhaps she can get the fact that when you have an animal, you have a responsibility to see... I didn't speak to you. I'm speaking to your wife. Be quiet. Everybody else in your family may be afraid of you. I guarantee you, sir. I guarantee you, sir, I do not quiver in my boots at your presence.
You're not supposed to.
Good.
You're not supposed to.
You have a responsibility to see to it that no harm comes to any other living creature, human or otherwise, as a result of your animal. And you chose to leave your dog outside. A small child may have come by and opened up the gate, may have unhooked the lock, That's possible. That's not an act of God. That's something that you are responsible for. And between you paying the $1,400 for the vet bill and them paying $1,400 for the vet bill, the responsibility is yours. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,400. And I assume that if you had taken care of this responsibility immediately, there wouldn't have been any harassment that resulted. So your counterclaim
Harassment started
dismissed.
before we got the paperwork.
Out.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
That little dog snapped at my dog. My dog just getting aggressive. Say if somebody punched you in the face, you're going to punch him back, right?
I'm glad, because my dog was really badly hurt.
Her kids come by flipping us off and flipping off the neighbors and, a bunch of nonsense, chaos.
Every time the dad would see me walking down the street, he would tell his daughter to go beat me up, and I'd always just try to walk away.
They were telling us to hit them, so we ended up hitting them. They were all up in our face and stuff, so we're going to do what we had to do.
It wasn't just over my dog. It was over a lot of things.
My daughters have been in fights with other neighborhood children, and her oldest daughter, they physically fought, and it's just a mess.
Planner Lisa Jefferson Brooks is suing her estranged husband's ex-girlfriend, loan officer Katie Lamphere, for the cost of a paternity test and for loans to keep Katie off the streets.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 401 on the calendar in the matter of Jefferson Brooks versus Lamphere. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Miss Brooks, this is a very strange tale that I'm sure you're going to try to simplify for me. Miss Lamphere is the ex-girlfriend of your ex-husband, and for some strange and bizarre reason, you decided to become friends. She has a couple of children, I believe, one of whom your ex-husband was paying support for as his child. You allege in your complaint that you made a series of loans to your ex-husband's ex-girlfriend, and then you took one child for a paternity test without her permission. And the test established, according to you, that he was not the father of this child. And Miss Lamphere said, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm prepared to reimburse you for the cost of the test. That's what the case is about.
Basically.
Okay. First, when were you divorced?
Actually, my husband and I were still technically married, but in the state that we live in, you have to be separated for a year.
When did you separate?
2 months ago.
And when did you start making this series of loans to Miss Lamphere?
At the end of July of this year.
Was he happy about you making loans to Miss Lamphere?
I don't know that he was happy about it, but it was a situation where Miss Lamphere and her children, she has 3 girls. At the end of May, they were being evicted from where they were living at. They relocated to the state where we were relocating to, which is my hometown. They really didn't have anywhere to go. She had secured a job, and we were keeping my husband's daughter and her sister.
Your husband's daughter is how old?
11.
Okay, so that child was living with you?
For 1 month. We kept them for 1 month.
Okay. Go ahead.
Her sister, who's 8 years old, is a little girl who Ms. Lamphere had alleged was his daughter. We were not paying support for Ashley. That's her name.
You were paying support for the 11-year-old?
Whatever arrangements he worked out with her, that was between the 2 of them. They had already had this child before we got married.
Which child, the 11-year-old or the 8-year-old, did you take for a paternity test?
The 8-year-old.
And how do you take a child for a paternity test without the mother?
That was during the time that she was staying with us.
Did she go too for the paternity test?
The mother did not go, no ma'am.
Well, how do you take a paternity test without both parents and the child?
The father and the child went, they took pictures, they took samples, and they ran the test.
Never heard that. Okay, let's get back to the loans. Tell me about the loans.
She was securing a place to stay for her and her children. She needed $2,000 to secure the place to live.
So tell me who she called, you or your husband?
She called me directly.
Had you been friendly before?
We were civil.
Civil?
Yes.
What did she say to you?
She said, I found a place to stay, and I need to borrow the money to secure it.
And you lent her the money?
That was the first loan.
How did you get the $2,000?
Lisa wired it from her bank account into the bank account from the people that I was renting the house from.
How did she know to do that?
In July, 2 of my children did go and stay with her husband and her. My oldest daughter is her husband's daughter, my 11-year-old. They went there for the summer. It was supposed to be during a summer vacation, and I did come across a very hard time, and I did have to move from Virginia back to South Carolina.
Okay.
So I went to South Carolina, and I had a job there, and I needed to find a home, obviously, and be able to have the money to move into it. And her husband had called me and said to me, listen, Katie, I know Lisa and I know you're going through a hard time. It's hard for us to having the girls here because both of us are working. You need to get set up in a house and get the kids back. So he had called me and told me that you find a house, we'll give you the money to move.
Did you ever say that to her?
Absolutely not, and it's impossible for
Just
Mr.
a second.
Brooks.
She never said that to you. Money came from her bank. She never said it to you. I don't believe that.
The money, though, was $1,700 was for back child support also.
No. She's not responsible for back child support.
That was the agreement. She had offered $1,700 to go towards his $30-some thousand of support that was owed.
Just a second. Who did she say that she was going to give $1,700 to?
Me.
When?
July, I believe it was around the 15th.
Is that right?
That's absolutely not true because the transaction, the wire did not take place until the end of July.
Okay. When did she tell you she was going to pay you back?
Within 6 weeks of the loan.
She told you that?
Yes, ma'am.
On the phone?
And email.
Can I see it?
Yes, ma'am.
It's clear that you acknowledged loans to her. Why are you making up a story?
I'm not making up a story. She did wire the money into an account.
It says, I promise I'll pay you back. It's me. I'm the pain in the butt again. I need to ask you one more favor.
To borrow $600. $1,700 was given to me.
By her?
Yes.
How ridiculous.
And Lisa, $1,700 was given to me.
And the paternity test?
When they called me and told me about the paternity test being done.
Yeah.
And they said, we took Ashley to have a paternity test.
Which was out of line. No question, which was out of line.
First of all, I was going through a very hard time in my life.
I don't care about your hard time. What I care about is whether or not you agreed to pay her back for the paternity test. I mean, I think it was nervy for her to take your daughter for a paternity test, but I'm asking you, did you agree to pay her back for the paternity test?
I did.
You did. I know you did, but that's not what you say in the answer.
I was devastated when I found out that they did that.
I tell you who else is devastated, your 8-year-old daughter.
No.
No. Guarantee you. Well, the results of the paternity test, he was clearly excluded as anyone who was possible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have $510 for the paternity test, $2,000, and $600 that you needed for truck.
Yes, ma'am, but there's also the matter of $900.
For?
That's the $900 that she used to set up the card that she referenced in the email.
Is that right?
There was $600.
6 or 9?
It was $600.
Okay, going to give you a chance. Got 5 minutes.
May I say something about the paternity test? My daughter's birth certificate has her biological father's name on it. Her husband knew that birth certificate had another name on it. We had discussed the possibility of him actually being the biological father, and we had reasons behind that. They took my daughter and had the paternity test. I didn't ask for them to do that. He had never mentioned to me about having the paternity test at that time. I was told after they went to do it. I did say in the email, I will pay back the $600 because I was upset and devastated, but I don't feel at this time they had the right to take my daughter without me at least being there with her.
You're absolutely right. I think it was the wrong thing to do. But you agreed to pay for the test. Other than the fact that you agreed to pay for it, I would not find you at fault and order you to pay it. But you agreed to pay for it. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,710. What caused you to separate from your husband?
It was a series of things. It really didn't have anything to do with Miss Lanfair.
How long were you married to him?
It'll be 9 years this month.
And she filed this against me after they separated.
So?
She offered $1,700 of that money to me.
Let me ask you this question. Think logically. Why would a perfect stranger support you and your children? And why would you take from a perfect stranger?
She's not.
And she's a perfect stranger to you. She is not related to you by blood, and she's not related to you by marriage at all. She doesn't owe you anything. Grow up. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,710.
Thank you, ma'am.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
This was the first little bit of help that I would have gotten from them.
It wasn't for Miss Lanfair, it was for her children.
I was in a state of devastation.
It's just too much drama.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Joyce versus Morales. Step forward.
25-year-old wholesale account manager Marlena Joyce is suing her ex-roommate, 22-year-old mortgage assistant Rachel Morales, for unpaid rent and for damages she caused to their apartment. Rachel says she moved out because Marlena's boyfriend moved in.
Miss Joyce, you and a friend decided to move to San Diego not this person, and you leased an apartment with this friend. Shortly after you leased the apartment in September, the friend decided to move home, leaving you with the apartment. You found the defendant, and she said she also needed a place to live. You agreed that she would move in practically immediately.
Mm-hmm.
On what date did your friend move home?
Did he move back?
Yes.
August. No exact date. I don't remember the date.
So in September, you had to come up with rent.
Mm-hmm.
And what date did Miss Morales move in?
First week of September?
September 7th, actually, due to the fact she had a house guest already there.
You moved in September 7th.
Mm-hmm. But she had all her stuff in before he moved.
That's why
before
I
he
paid
came
you
to
the rent
visit.
for it.
Shh, don't fight with each other.
Sorry.
You moved in September 7th, and you paid rent.
I gave her the check on September 1st because I had movers bring my belongings already.
How much did you give her?
$725 total.
And that was your agreement?
Mm-hmm.
And you moved out on October 7th.
My physical belongings, October 7th, yes. I stayed, after our argument, I left that night and never returned. But because my stuff was there, I felt I owed her those 2 days.
You left on October 7th.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct? And she paid you for a month's rent on September 7th.
Mm-hmm. No, ma'am.
Shh. Sorry. Listen to me. So far, you're losing. You have to listen. Listen. Open up your ears. Put on your listening ears, okay? The rent was $725. You gave her $725. You gave her $725. You moved in, according to you, on September 7th because she had a house guest. You moved out on October 7th. That's what you just told me.
Yes, ma'am.
So that I'm asking you, what do you want?
On October 1st, she paid rent. We got into an argument at work because she didn't want my boyfriend at the house, at her house.
Well, at the house that she was paying rent on, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you move out?
The reason when I first moved in, we decided no boys. And I gave her the 7 first days in September for the fact she had her boyfriend from Virginia visiting. And I'm like, that's rude of me to be the third wheel. We decided no boys. Like, that was the whole thing. No sports,
You mean
no
no
nothing.
boys sleeping over?
Sleeping over. And then she meets this guy 2 weeks later on a Saturday. His physical...
Slow down.
I'm
Slow
sorry.
down.
His physical...
Slow
okay.
down.
She met him on a Saturday, and he moved in on Tuesday. Physically
That's not
moved
true.
in.
Shh, don't answer her.
The reason I know this is because every day on my lunch I go home, and he was there when she wasn't there. I would go home my lunch,
So
and he was there.
the boyfriend sort of moved in.
Yes, and I physically saw him moving his stuff in, doing laundry that day. And I'm like,
okay.
Yeah.
Now, was the argument that you had with her, Miss Joyce, over the boyfriend? That's what you said?
Yeah.
And she said to you, I don't want to share my house with...
And I told her, you haven't given me a penny for the deposit. Your name is not on the lease. Until I see anything for the deposit, this is not your house.
Okay.
You're staying...
All right, got it, Miss Joyce, I got it. Now, I'm asking you, Miss Joyce, she was there for a month. She paid you for a month. What are you suing her for?
She moved out without giving me a 30-day notice.
She doesn't have to give you a 30-day notice. You breached your agreement with her. She doesn't have to give you 30-day notice, period. You breached your agreement with her. Your agreement with her was that the two of you were going to be sharing this apartment together. You moved in a third party who was not paying rent.
No,
Next!
nobody moved in.
Next!
Nobody moved in.
Listen to me. Next. What are you suing her for?
Damages her dog did to my carpet.
Well, did you have a dog?
Yes, I did.
Did you have a dog?
Yeah, she's in dog care, though.
Just a second. You had a dog and she had a dog. So what you're talking about is some dog peeing on the carpet. Is that right? You have scientific proof to establish to my satisfaction, Miss Joyce, that it was her dog and not your dog?
We both know it was her dog.
Well, she doesn't know that.
I know. She knows. She would have me run inside before guys would come to the house to clean up her dog's poop. So when she brought the guy inside, the house would be clean. My dog stays in a cage, and he has his puppy pads.
Miss Joyce, grow up. It didn't work out. You did the wrong thing. You don't bring a third person into the house and say to your roommate, suck it up. You don't do that, because what you did was say, suck it up. You didn't pay your deposit, therefore, and you're not on the lease, so you can't tell me who to have in my house. She's already paid you $725 for the privilege of being able to say who she wants in her home. Do you understand that?
She never
Goodbye.
talked to me.
All right, y'all excuse. You may step out.
If she had a problem with my boyfriend staying at the house, she should have told me, which she never told me until we got into a little argument.
You can't meet someone on Saturday, move him in on Tuesday, and expect that to be okay with me.
She was jealous that I had a boyfriend.
He moved in, and she just wants to deny that.
And then she just didn't like it.
I'm never having a roommate again, at least a female one.
Had this habit of turning his music up so loud. So I called the police. The next day I get out of my car and he calls me.
Did the two of you ever see each other socially?
Just the two of us?
Just the two of you.
This is Judy Justice. Robin Shepler is suing her former neighbor, Garrett Tappendorf, for a mobility scooter and harassment.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3053, Shepler versus Tappendorf.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Shepler, am I correct that the two of you were neighbors in a mobile home community?
Correct.
How long had you been neighbors in the community where you lived?
2 years.
Did the two of you ever see each other socially?
Just the two of us?
Just the two of you.
One time we went for a Friday night fish dinner, yes.
Other than the one-time Friday night fish dinner, did you ever go out socially with him? Either two of you or another couple or...
With other neighbors in the mobile home park.
Your case is about a scooter that you sold to the defendant.
Correct.
I want you to tell me exactly what kind of scooter it was, because I wasn't able to get enough information about it.
It's called the Golden Companion 2 scooter.
Where did you get it from?
My father bought himself the scooter and a wheelchair. He never used them before he moved into a
So you got it from your father?
Correct.
When? What year?
2018.
And how long had he had it before he gave it to you?
3 years.
And where did he get it from?
He purchased it from a connection he had at the VA center.
From a private person?
No, it was from the company directly.
Any luck?
So I just need to know if it's a 3-wheel or a 4-wheel.
3-wheel.
Then I have for a new one from Golden Tech, I believe.
Well, this one's 8 years old.
Well, I have what a new one is,
Okay.
and then I have what some eBay offers
Okay,
are.
good.
But 2756
Is new.
Is new. And then I could look up some used ones if you want, just to get.
Could you do that from 2015? I would appreciate it. Okay. At the time that you claimed the defendant purchased this scooter from you, was it running?
No.
In what month and year did he purchase it from you?
May of 2021.
And how long had it not been running? You had had it since 2018.
As far as I know, it just needed 2 new batteries.
It's not what I asked you.
Okay.
How long had it not been running?
I'm not aware.
So as far as you know, it had not been running since 2018.
Yes.
Tell me what the arrangement you made with Mr. Tappendorf was with regard to the scooter. He said he wanted it. You said...
Said, well, it's not running. I wanted to get new batteries for it and sell it myself for about $3,000.
Yeah, well, that would be hard since it's 8 years old and the new one costs less than $3,000.
So I said, we can work out a deal.
Do you understand what I just said?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So he said he's interested in buying it, and I know he's a handyman. So I asked if he would be willing to install a dishwasher in my home and a water softener in my home, and we could work out a discounted price for buying the scooter from me.
So what price did you work out?
At that time, I had mentioned $1,500.
Is that what he agreed to?
It was a verbal agreement. There was no talk on price.
No, there cannot be a contract without terms. Have to be terms. You say this is what you want. He says this is what I'll pay you. And I will do something to reduce that price by so much. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay. So far, we don't have a contract.
No.
In what month and year did you take possession of the scooter, sir?
I believe Robin is right. May of 2021.
How much money did you give her for it?
None.
Did you ever give her any money for it?
Yes.
When?
Close to 8 months to a year later.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding you giving her money for it.
Well, I thought we already had it worked out with all the labor that I did. And my girlfriend took it down to the mailbox. And as soon as she left, Robin's right across the street. She come running over and she said she wanted more money.
Okay. Well, I'm missing that whole, there's a whole piece missing there, sir. 8 months later, you gave her money.
Yes, I did.
How much?
$500.
Okay. Sarah, in your
I looked
adventure on the machine, did you come up with a price for a used?
Yes. So there's actually one right here on eBay that's the same 3 wheels that needs batteries for $350. And then there's another one for $250, and they range up to about $750.
Your Honor, I have the information on that too from 2 companies in La Crosse.
No, I don't need any information from you. I have a very trusted clerk here who's just looked it up and indicated that for a used scooter, the range is from $250 for that year model to $750 for that year model, right?
That's what she looked up. This was an unused, never used scooter.
That's what she looked up.
Yes.
Also, if I may ask you, Your Honor, or show you, it is a manufactured.
So far, you're not losing, sir. So I don't know what you want to contribute to this.
I just I have an old flip phone with the date on it. It was manufactured 05/28 of 2007.
Okay, so it wasn't 2015, it was 2007.
That's what I found on the scooter.
Kevin, can I see the document that the defendant referenced?
Okay, I'll show you.
No, you had it right over there.
This one?
Yeah.
Well, that's just, here, it's on my phone, Your Honor, and I don't know if you can look at it. I just wrote it down so I had it in front of me, but
okay.
I have it on this phone. If you can operate it, I don't know.
I can't operate it, and I don't want to operate it.
Okay.
Return this to him. Anyway, the $500 that you gave to her is more than reasonable for the scooter. So my question to you is, if it was vulgar then, which to me it would have been, why did you let him in your house to install a dishwasher?
I was not aware of those actions that he had at that time.
Okay.
And later today.
He advanced the money for security deposits so you had a place to live. And the next month you decided to be a stay-at-home dad.
I had no option.
I don't care. What does that matter to Mr. Huntsman? Do I care? Does Sarah care that you had no option? Whitney doesn't care. Not even Kevin cares if you have no option.
Robin Shepler claims her former neighbor, Garrett Tappendorf, harassed her for months and owes for a mobility scooter.
Now, you did other work for her. Tell me what other work you did for her.
The work that I performed for Robin was she had no dishwasher there. So I cut the cabinet out, prepared a spot for the dishwasher, had to go through more cabinets to get the plumbing over to the sink. Then it needed to have electrical work to power that up. And she asked me to install another electrical outlet for her microwave.
Now, Miss Shepler, you seem to acknowledge that the defendant did, in fact, install a dishwasher for you.
I did some of the work as well for that.
Well, that's your home.
Yes.
It's not his home.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do as much work as you like. And this was part of the deal for the scooter, which he paid you $500 for, which already covers the cost of the scooter. So now he's working off nothing. So he installed a dishwasher for you.
He did sub-quality work, though. Well, I have photos if you'd like to see.
I don't want to see, madam. If you want a professional installation, call a professional. If you want your neighbor to do it in exchange for a scooter, then you don't complain that you don't like the work. Does it wash dishes?
I had to replace it. No.
It was used, Your Honor.
What?
It was a used dishwasher.
Yeah, replacing the dishwasher. Does the current dishwasher work?
Yes.
Is the current dishwasher a new one?
Yes.
Was the one he installed a used one?
Yes.
There we go. So far, he's paid for the scooter. Punitive damages for harassment. You want to go into that, Ms. Shepler?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
I knew him for 6 years prior to being neighbors. In that time, we would have community fires, bonfires, and he had this habit of turning his music up so loud.
Just a second. Give me a month and year.
This specific time for the last time was on March 16th. This was during the day.
Just March 16th, 2023. He played his music too loud.
I was working, and I couldn't do my job across the street because his music was so loud.
Next.
So I called the police.
And?
The next day I came home from work, I get out of my car, and he calls me
that's a nasty word.
No, I did not.
Just a second. And?
And other vulgar terms.
And?
And he had the habit of standing outside urinating, where my grandchildren would see him.
Well, tell me when. Give me
Every other day he did it.
Well, then you shouldn't have let him in your house to install a dishwasher.
He also had...
Just a second. So my question to you is, if it was vulgar then, which to me it would have been, why did you let him in your house to install a dishwasher?
I was not aware of those actions that he had at that time.
Okay. Next.
The harassment comes from after he was served his small claims case that I filed. I witnessed him putting spotlights out in his front flower bed. and running extension cords to power them. And I kind of wondered what he was doing. At 6:30, I proceeded to go to an evening activity. I came home at 10:30 at night. I turned the corner onto my street to see the entire street lit up because these spotlights are shining on my house. I proceeded to call the police. The police came within 11 minutes. I have documents of the police. I have a video of the police going to the defendant's house, in which they spoke to him, and within 3 minutes, the lights went off. But I had my camera rolling, and I could see the police were standing 10 feet away from the door. Next thing I know, the police are coming over to my house to talk to me, and when they came to my door, I turned on my front light. When the police came, they asked me to turn off the lights so they could talk to me, and I told them, this man is harassing me. I'm afraid of him. He has a problem with alcohol.
Why did you file a small claims case against him? I don't understand. You were paid more than the scooter was worth between the $500 he gave you that you accepted, plus in addition to that, he did some work in your house, whether you liked the work he did, whether you didn't like the work that he did. I'm not understanding why you filed, because you say this harassment started after you filed the small claims case.
Yes.
And I don't understand why you filed a small claims case against him.
I feel it was a brand new unused scooter that happened to be 6 years old at the time. So I think the value was higher than $500. And I brought over a flyer to him, which I have here. And we sat down and we discussed it, that $1,000 would be the going price for what he'd owed for the scooter, having done the work.
Okay. First of all, whatever it was a plus item for you. It was given to you by your father who couldn't use it anymore. You don't know what he paid for it. He says from the scooter it was built in 2007, despite the fact that you say your father bought it new in 2015, which I'm not so sure about. But the highest price for that scooter is $750. The highest. The lowest is $225 in the same year. So you got paid for it. I don't understand why a busy woman like you would waste your time. I just don't understand. You seem like an intelligent woman. You have a counterclaim. It is your claim, Mr. Tappendorf, that because the plaintiff called the police on you several times, it caused you to be evicted from your home.
That's true.
Show me.
I filed a counterclaim in the amount of $1,800.
I have it. And it says punitive damages for losing home and moving expenses, which I read your counterclaim, and you say because of her constant complaints about you.
I don't have any proof.
Well, if you don't have,
Mr.
Tappendorf, you know what happens when you don't have proof?
You get nothing.
Right. Right. Because you filed the counterclaim, and I can't tell you what happened. You have to have proof and be able to show me that the reason you were asked to leave the leased property that your mobile home was on was because of the plaintiff. It's possible that it was, because the police, based upon what she tells me, were called twice.
It was more than that.
That may be more of a reason. You don't have to help his case.
I've never had a ticket, never had a warning. I just had a warning one time that the radio was too loud, please turn it off. These lights that she's talking about
I'm not interested.
False.
Sir, all you have to do is show me that you were evicted from the property because of the plaintiff.
It's all hearsay then, Your Honor.
Well, then I have a problem.
I do have proof of what he harassed me with.
Just a second.
And later today.
According to what I read, the money was going to come from your work.
Could we ask that question one more time? Just so I know.
The money was supposed to come. Listen, he didn't give you $2,800. I want you to understand that right now. That's not going through my mind.
Okay.
This is a very smart old mind.
Robin Shepler claims her former neighbor, Garrett Tappendorf, harassed her for months and owes for a mobility scooter.
He has no case. Why are you helping him?
I'm not helping him. I have my own case against.
No, your case is dismissed against him.
Thank you.
Because you have no case. You were paid for a scooter more than handsomely. You had work done in your house. You were paid far more than the value of it over the internet for a scooter that's between 8 and 14 years old, more than handsomely, and you had work, and he did work for you. That you may not have liked the work, but he did the work, and you installed a new dishwasher that works. And he did the cabinetry. You may not like the way he did it, but you installed the dishwasher there, and it took time. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, so we're done here. Go Be well, have a happy life. You're not living there anymore?
No, I'm not, Your Honor.
Good. Are you living someplace else that you like?
More peaceful place.
Good. Glad to hear it. That's
He's
it.
not
We're
supposed
done.
to be in our park, and he continues to.
This court is adjourned.
He was in front of my camera riding in circles. I'm on Robin's camera. I'm on candid camera, doing burnouts with my scooter.
It goes 4 miles an hour.
He taunted me with the scooter, and he knew he owed me more money on it.
I have another girlfriend that lives in the neighborhood, and they're all jealous of her, and they just want me out of there now.
Well, he's been evicted from the park, and all of the people are very happy that he's no longer there.
That defendant has definitely watched you before. He knew he had no proof, and he knew he was going home because of it. But, I mean, I guess at least be honest. When you come in, he knew he didn't have it, but...
What do I have? Got nothing.
Yeah, at least he knew it was hearsay, and he knew you weren't hearing it.
I actually thought he was pretty sharp.
Yeah, but I think, you know, she was adequately paid, and he did work. She didn't like it, hire a professional.
Yeah, well, you put in a used dishwasher in the work that he created. So he really more than paid for it.
Yeah.
There's something else there. There's some other annoyance there. I'm not exactly sure what it is between the two of them.
You don't want to know.
And I don't. Yes.
Previously on Judy Justice.
According to both of you, that you decide to do as a side hustle is breed little Frenchy bulldogs. You do not take $3,500 out if you can't pay your own rent to buy a dog.
He had sent me a derogatory text saying thanks for paying the rent, and he had me distraught, and I got out of there.
You had a disagreement about the rent in September of 2022.
It was more than the rent, ma'am.
Whatever you had a disagreement about, you say he assaulted you.
I've never been charged with assault on her or nothing.
And now, the conclusion. Amina Thornton claims her former client, Donnie Alford, stole her property and owes her dog registration papers. Donnie says Amina defamed him on social media.
Okay, you say he assaulted you. Tell me where you were when this took place.
The assault took place in the apartment.
So you were there in the apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the circumstances.
The studio equipment, everything was still there. He was getting evicted, and I wanted the belongings back. I wanted the things to come back to me because they belong to me, and that was the agreement. I have text messages, you stop paying everything, I have nothing, you hold the upper hand. When you leave, you won't have a problem bouncing back. You have your husband, I have
Can
nothing.
I see just one or two of the texts?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, can I say something?
Absolutely.
I'm not no homeless bum. I make money. I'm one of the top entertainers in Atlanta. So therefore, I do make money. I have my own money. When I met her, I was passionate about music. I took her on. And
took her on for what?
Because I liked her aggression when it came to getting stuff done. So I asked her to manage me. I had a job at the time. I had a place to lay my head at the time. It was her decision for me to stop working. And I have in a text message where she said the agreement was for me to pay your rent, take care of necessities, and don't exceed over anything over, I think, like $8,000 a month. So I was working, doing shows, doing that, and the money that she would put in my account and I was get, that was from me, like that's actually like me working for being an artist.
I thought you were working.
The agreement was for me to stop working so I could focus strictly on music.
Well, that's good. You told me you were one of the top artists.
Yes.
So what'd you need her money for?
Top entertainer. So I stopped dancing and I focused nothing on music, recording as an artist, singing. So therefore...
So you stopped doing what you made money in, that's what you said.
Yes.
You stopped to focus on just singing.
Yes, because I had the financial backing to do it.
Mr. Alford, why do you think she was doing that, sir?
She did it because it was lucrative. At first, it was business, business. Then I seen that she started taking interest in me. She never stayed at an apartment, none of that. So, yes, I overlooked the interest part, but we still had a plan. Let's get this music done. I'll get my money on the back end from the music, and that's how it was. That's exactly how it was for the long run. Then she started getting emotional. Whenever I go out, then the personal started coming in. I started backing up a little bit.
Where did you get all this money to buy the dogs?
It was from money I already had from dancing, my side money, and then money that she was giving me from working. I'm an artist. That's if I ask somebody to do something, I'm an artist, right?
I actually have the whole picture, Mr. Alford. I have her whole picture, which is, you know, sad, a little bit desperate. And I have your picture. I have the whole picture. She's getting her dogs back. Can I see the email, please, that you referenced, Ms. Thornton?
Yes.
Other than that, I'm ready to move on to his counterclaim. You're getting the registration papers for your 2 dogs. Do you have a police report?
Yep. I have my restraining order. I have an active restraining order.
Was there a hearing on the restraining order?
It's active.
Answer this question. Stop looking because you can't concentrate on my question. With regard to the assault allegation against the defendant, which took place in December of 2022, according to you, if there is an active restraining order, there had to have been either a consent by him for the restraining order or a trial.
Trial.
There was a trial.
Yes.
Did you testify at the trial?
I did.
Just a second, you're looking at papers again.
Yes, ma'am.
Did he testify at the trial?
He did.
Did the court, after the hearing, Mr. Alford, issue a restraining order?
Yes, they granted both. They told both of us to leave alone.
No. So what you're saying is you filed for a restraining order too?
Yes. No.
You did?
Yes.
No.
And then
okay.
when she...
Shh. Mr. Alford, pay attention. This was my bailiwick. This is my home territory. She files for a protective order. She's going to show me her application for a protective order. She's also going to show me the final order of protection.
Yes.
I want you to start looking for your application for your protective order and your final order of protection.
I have my phone, please.
Your phone? I don't want to see it in a phone. I want to see the order.
Oh, my God.
Well, you're wasting my time. After the trial, the judge granted her a 6-month protective order.
Yes, both of us. Well, yes, her, yes.
Right.
Right.
Well, then I don't have to get into that. The judge already found that you assaulted her.
Accused her former client, Donnie Alford, of refusing to return registration papers for her French bulldogs. Donnie is countersuing for the value of the dogs and online defamation.
This is 6-month protective order is what it says. What I don't have is a signed order by the judge.
Okay, I'll give that to you. Just 1 second, Your Honor.
May I please have, Mr. Alford, your application for a protective order, for your application where it says Donnie Alford against Amina Thornton and your final protective order.
No, so I didn't get a final protective order.
Well, she did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the judge told us both to
I don't
leave
care.
alone.
Don't tell me what the judge told you, sir. You're wasting my time. After the trial, the judge granted her a 6-month protective order.
Yes, both of us. Well, yes, her, yes.
Right.
Right.
Well, then I don't have to get into that. The judge already found that you assaulted her. Found the allegations or some of the allegations that were true.
Some.
I don't care. Some or all. She's suing you for an assault.
Okay.
The court found that there was sufficient assault, menacing, threatening, or harassing to issue her a final order of protection for 6 months. You have no police report, correct?
No, I did not file a police.
Okay. And the medical records on which this assault was based, a visit to the doctor, anything else?
It's just the emergency room and the follow-up.
I'd like to see it. For what date is that?
That's just the bill, Your Honor. I couldn't get the... I can go into My Healthy Vet. I had to go to the VA.
This is a statement date. This was just this month.
I know.
Yeah, you just got this bill for this case. Okay, throw this away. Okay, now we're going to get to his counterclaim. Put all your papers away. On your claim, the court's going to issue an order, and the order is that the 2 dogs, you'll give the names of the dogs to the clerk and all the other materials so that the AKC will issue the registration papers in your name for those 2 dogs. He has a counterclaim seeking the return of the 2 dogs, which he's not getting, 3 puppies, which he's not getting because the dogs aren't his, and defamation of character. Now, Mr. Alford, you make a claim here that, if true, is very problematic for her. You say that after this whole thing sort of broke up, the managerial relationship as well as the, albeit brief, social relationship, she defamed you by publishing someplace the fact that you have AIDS, carry multiple STDs, and hit women. So the court that heard the protective order may or may not have found that one of the actions that you did was hit women, so I'm going to forget about that in this. But I want you to show me proof that she published facts that you either have AIDS or carry multiple STDs.
So here's this.
Now just look at it carefully and make sure what you're giving me supports your statement that she alleged either one of those two things.
It's this one right here. It's the main one.
Just a second. Is that the only one that you have?
No, I have a lot, but that's the main one where
Not main one. Not main one. I asked you for anything that you have where she published that you either had AIDS or multiple STDs.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Don't speak.
That's the only one for the AIDS and STDs that
May
I
I
have.
see them, please?
Yeah.
I don't understand this one, Sarah. You can sort of explain that to me. This is what I have. AKA, this is author Amina Thornton. I see something that's ascribed to her with her name on it. This doesn't say that you have either AIDS or STDs, sir. This says that you are a domestic violent abuser. She says that you forced her to have sex. Thief, womanizer, trash can trash. He is a deadbeat dad. Do you have 5 kids?
He has 8 with 7 women.
Okay. So just a second. Do you have 5?
I have 5.
Okay.
8.
Police are going to be at this show to pick you up. Jarvis Alpha. Well, this isn't it.
I also have an e-blast that
This
she
doesn't
sent
say
out
you have AIDS.
saying that
What does that say?
This is somebody, I think, separate from the plaintiff that's messaging the defendant saying that this account that they screenshotted attributed to the plaintiff is replying under this third-party person's tweet saying that he has AIDS, a rapist.
That's okay. That's hearsay. Okay.
I also have it where she did an e-blast, was saying that I was dead, I have herpes, and she
May I
sent it.
see that?
Yes, that's the whole e-blast letter.
May I see it? So far, these don't establish your cause of action for defamation. Would you show this to the plaintiff, please?
And my mom got that. She sent.
Did you say, just a second, did you write that?
No, I did not.
Well, who does it say wrote it?
It doesn't say I wrote it.
What phone number does it say it comes
from? Oh, this is my husband's number. And I have the text message right here where my husband has said, this is not my wife's phone, this is my phone.
Ma'am, if you go on the affidavit or the protection order that you got stated from her, under there we have to list our numbers as contacts. You could verify that she has that number on that contact list.
And me and my husband live together.
Maybe. Okay, may I have it, please?
That's the text message that was sent to him in February.
Where's your husband?
Go find him.
Shh, listen to me. Whoever wrote this, you or your husband, it's nasty. It's nasty, right? It doesn't say that the defendant has AIDS. You can't accuse somebody of that just to be spiteful. You don't in this, but it's just a nasty, nasty email. And you say it was not authored by you.
It was not.
Could have been authored.
He has sent my husband text messages saying that he has had sex with me, made love with me, all kind of stuff.
Oh, you know what? Are you and your husband still together?
I am.
Can I?
24 years.
24 years. All right. It was a mistake.
It was a very big one.
Big mistake.
A very big one.
It was a very big mistake, Ms.
Yes,
Thornton.
the biggest mistake of my life.
Yeah, very big mistake. Who are you living with now, Mr. Alford?
I stay with my girlfriend.
Is that your
No.
girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay. And what are you doing?
I breed dogs.
You breed dogs?
Frenchies, yes.
How many dogs do you have?
We have 3, but we currently have 2 French bulldogs and about to get another one.
I just feel sorry for all these dogs. It doesn't appear to me that it's really such a good hobby.
I'm not the person she's trying to make me out to, and I hope that you allow me to show you that.
Listen, Mr. Alford, I want you to clearly understand me. I'm not getting into extrinsic material, sir. She says you have 8 children. You say you had 5. If you have 5 children, and what you're saying is you spent thousands of dollars on dogs in the same time period where someone else is paying your rent, so that you can develop your media career. How much money are you paying in child support, Mr. Alford?
I paid $25 for one child. And I
$25 or what?
$25 a month for one
child.
A
month, just a second.
And then I pay $145 for another child. And that's only because...
A month?
Yes.
A month. Well, I have to tell you, sir, I have a 4-pound Shih Tzu, and I couldn't feed her for $25 a week.
She has been locked up because she has came to my home and assaulted me and stuff like that and destroyed property.
On what date was she arrested?
I don't know the exact date.
Do you know what month and date you were arrested?
April 12th of 2022.
My God, you people.
Amina Thornton claims her former client, Donnie Alford, stole her property and owes her dog registration papers. Donnie says Amina defamed him on social media.
Go.
I'm an excellent father. I take care of my business. I do that. If I was a bum, she wouldn't have came to me and either gave me money to do what I had to do. I'm not that character. I'm not that guy. I take care of my responsibilities. I've been taking my responsibilities before I moved to Atlanta.
You can't.
Yes, sir. I can.
On $25 a month, you're not supporting a child.
I'm excellent.
Don't speak. I want you to be quiet.
This is his
I
careers.
don't want you to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not the only thing I pay. I take care of my kids.
Tell me what you...
I take care of my
just
kids.
Just a second. How do you take care of your kids?
I provide for them.
How?
If somebody needs something, then I do it.
You mean like if they need a pair of sneakers?
If anything, I go get my kids. I have two kids. I came to Georgia because my kids is in Georgia.
Good. This is the ruling of the court. The ruling of the court is that we will notify AKC with regard to the...
Nothing about the defamation of character or none of that.
To the dogs. Sir.
My girlfriend is a teacher. She sent a letter to the superintendent and threatened that, oh, well, you have a rapist in the house, and sent letters and pictures, nude pictures to my mom, posted on internet. Like, I'm...
Just a second. Did you post nude pictures? Put it down. Put your thing down.
This is stuff I bought for his kid.
Do you understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you're being annoying. Did you post nude pictures of him on the internet?
No. Your Honor, he has an OnlyFans account.
I'm dismissing your case the next time you say a word. Do you understand? I'm going to dismiss your case. You'll be without the registration for the puppies. Do you understand?
This is where she sent people the text message, and you can see it has a little nudity in it, but I didn't want to make it big, obviously, because we're in the courtroom. But you can see where I'm naked in here. She sent my military ID to people. It's been like this. And then I have text message where I tell her to leave me alone. And all she does is say, oh, not until I get my dog papers, not until this happens, not until that. You wanted an enemy. I have all of this.
He's never been in the military.
Do you understand what I said? I'm going to dismiss your case the next time you say a word.
I don't understand, man.
The next time you say a word, I'm going to dismiss your case. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Mr. Alford, what you're claiming, sir, and I'm going to do this very quickly, what you're claiming, and I can imagine that this is a course of conduct that... What do you want?
I don't want anything.
Then take the finger down. I understand, Mr. Alford, that if what you're saying is that she's embarked upon a campaign to harass and embarrass you, look at me, Mr. Alford, what precipitated that? What precipitated this campaign of harassment? Because now you know how to go to court to get a protective order. Did you ever bring these allegations to the judge who heard the application for a protective order? That's either a yes or a no.
There is an open case that I can't discuss, but she has been locked up because she has came to my home and assaulted me and stuff like that and destroyed property. But
so, just a second. So, when you say there's an open case, where is that open case?
Fulton County.
Is it a criminal case?
Yes.
On what date was she arrested?
I don't know the exact date.
Do you know on what month and day and date you were arrested?
April 12th of 2022.
My God, you people. Was the issue with her the papers for the dogs?
No.
What was the issue? Because I think you said that before. She wanted the papers for the dogs.
The issue is that she wanted something from me and didn't get that. You know, because if it was the situation with just the dogs or anything, then she would have been left me alone. If I harassed her, if I raped her, if I did all this stuff to her, why is she still coming to me? I'm not coming to her. It's been a whole year of being harassed. Your kids get involved. I didn't even know the dog had puppies. I don't follow her. She's sending me pictures of I got the dogs have puppies, woo, woo.
Well,
like all of this.
I'm going to explain something to you, Mr. Alford. You know, I could be wrong. I was last wrong in about 1947. I remember I ordered the wrong flavor ice cream from the Good Humor Man. You each wanted something different from this relationship. That's crystal clear to me. Whatever her motivation was, clearly was not your motivation. And eventually, the realization was, how old are you?
I'm 35.
How old are you?
46.
Okay. 46 doesn't go into 35. I learned that. 35 goes into 46. Okay? So eventually, it didn't pan out, and there's lots of bad feelings. Going into a business with Frenchies, I actually just feel sorry for the dogs. But if there was any irritant, Mr. Alford, any irritant whatsoever that involved the registration papers for the dogs, you should have let her have them. No. Because this is not a question, this is now a ruling. You should have let her have them because a woman scorned will do nothing short of getting even. Men are just happy to walk away. A woman scorned is a whole different thing. And what I'm telling you, sir, if the one irritant was giving her the papers for the dog, which there is no way you paid for these dogs, a penny. No way you paid for these dogs. You weren't even paying your own rent. Anyway, the ruling of the court is you get the registration papers for the dogs. Everything else is dismissed. We're done.
This court is adjourned.
At first, it was just business, and then it started getting personal.
The main thing was my dogs. They are my family.
I had stuff tied to the dogs and business, and she had stuff tied to the dog, and we both didn't want to lose anything.
He chose to live on lies.
It's hard to see him go, but it's even more hard that I'm still out here as this bad guy.
And if you're living on lies, then truth is never going to prevail.
You know, be careful about who you work with.
The time he assaulted me, that's when we fell out and it became an issue.
I feel sorry for the dogs because that's what she's going to do. She's going to breed them and throw them in the trash, like she said.
I love my dogs. My kids love my dogs. And we take care of them.
I don't think anyone with that type of financial picture should be able to spend $3,500 per dog on Frenchies to take up a new breeding hobby, which, as we've seen, is not a hobby. That is a business, a profession that requires an immense amount of specialized knowledge.
And care.
And care.
Especially
and time.
For that breed.
Especially for that breed.
People should really not take on as a side hustle breeding whatever dog there is of the month. It's not fair.
It's not a fad.
It's not a fad. You know, I can't even imagine the living conditions of the 5 dogs that the plaintiff has and the 5 puppies and the 3 that he now has with the new girl.
Have you ever prayed and felt like nothing happened? Like you cried out to God, asked him to move, to fix it, to open the door, but all you got in return was silence. It's hard, isn't it? Waiting on God can feel like standing in a dark room, hoping someone will turn the lights on. You don't know what's next. You don't know how long it'll take, and sometimes you start to wonder if God even heard you at all. But friend, listen to me. God's sense is not his absence. Sometimes when God says wait, he's not ignoring you. He's preparing you, protecting you, strengthening you for something greater than you can see right now. Let me ask you this. Have you ever baked something in the oven? You don't just mix the ingredients and then eat the batter. You put it in the oven. You wait. And while it's baking, you don't see the changes, but something good is happening inside that heat. That's what God does with us. He puts us in a season where things don't look like they're changing, but behind the scenes, he's working. The Bible says in Isaiah 40:13, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." That's not just a nice verse. That's a promise. Waiting on God leads to strength, not weakness. Think about Joseph. He had a dream from God, But before the dream came true, he was thrown in a pit, sold as a slave, and locked in prison for years. He had every reason to give up, but he waited, and when the time was right, God raised him up to lead a nation. Now let's be honest, waiting feels unfair. You look around and wonder why everyone else is getting their blessings, their answers, their miracles, while you're still stuck in the same place. But you don't know what battles God is helping you avoid. You don't see the traps he's clearing out ahead of you. You don't see the hearts he's softening, the doors he's lining up, the healing he's preparing in your soul. Sometimes God delays the blessing because he loves you too much to give it too soon. That relationship you thought you needed, that job that didn't call back, that prayer that still hasn't been answered. It's not a no. It might just be a not yet. In Lamentations 3:25, it says, "The Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the soul who seeks him." God honors the wait. He blesses the wait. He is in the wait. So if you're in a waiting season right now, don't give up. Don't stop praying. Don't stop believing. And don't stop trusting the one who holds time in his hands. Keep showing up. Keep worshiping. Keep walking in faith, even when your eyes can't see the outcome. Because when God finally moves, he moves in ways that make the wait worth it. Type Amen in the comments if you're trusting God in your waiting season. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if this message spoke to your heart. Someone else might need this encouragement too. God bless you. And remember, delay is not denial. Your promise is in motion.